Kenny, can you talk about the middle eight as you've so-called talked about? Obviously, it was important again today.
Plus 14. Game changing for us. I mean, we shouldn't have won that football game. We played horrible. We didn't coach great. We shouldn't have won that game, but guess what? Good teams find a way. Good teams find a way. And we found a way. And kudos to our guys.
Who's got second mic? Chris?
Kenny, can you talk about the play of Jordan Tyson and Sam Levit just kind of running around, doing all kinds of things?
It's an unbelievable connection right now. Sam knew we were in cover. They were in cover one on the one scramble. He knew Jordan kind of got locked up originally on the release, so he bought some time and then knew there was a one-on-one in the corner. Launched it, gave him a jump ball, and great job by him going to get it. I mean, that's what JT does. He goes and high points the football as good as anybody I've been around. And, those guys, they both have – JT has 2 more years. Sam has 3 more years. I mean, that could be an exciting combo here for the future of Sun Devil football.
Getty, you're usually not one to really get into it with the officials or really debate them on certain calls, but it seems like there was a couple points in the game you did, and then on top of that, challenging them with the 1-yard ruling. And first, did you feel like it was a different feel this game versus other games, or just kind of going with the flow of the game? Like, what went into that?
Yeah, I thought I did a bad job getting our guys to come out with an edge. And, there was an opportunity there where they were, messing around, and they hit JT in the face, and it probably could have been a flag. It could have not been a flag. It was one of those, judgment calls. But I wanted our guys to see my intensity ramp up. So that was more me gauging our guys and seeing, we need somebody to bring some juice here. I can't go play, but what I can do is I can try to create some, passionate and try to create some juice with getting into it a little bit in a respectful manner. And I felt like our team needed some juice at the time, and I saw an opportunity for me to try to bring it, and that was really the gist of that.
Jesse?
Coach, X was in on that last stop on 4th down, but he had gone out with the injury. Did you call that timeout there at the end to get him back on the field?
Both. One, we wanted to see the final formation. Gus does a really good job running the ball, and that's a rundown. So we wanted to see, were they going to line up in wildcat? Were they going to come out of their huddle and line up in an unbalanced into the boundary, run their quick toss? They got 3 to 4 plays that they're going to run in those scenarios, and I wanted to see which one it was, and then also get X back. So it was a 2-for-1.
And, Coach, I know, obviously, RJ Harvey had the 3 touchdowns, but it seemed like for a good amount of the game, keeping in front of him, wrapping up, making tackles, what would you think of the defense's performance overall and even against him?
That kid's really good. And he's really, really good. He's probably the best back. Well, he is the best back we faced. Dynamic, explosive. They did a great job running the football. We got dominated on the ground. If you just look at the rushing statistics, it's not pretty. And that's a good learning lesson for us, that we just can't line up and stop the run. We just can't line up and run the football. We got to practice like that. Like I told the guys, I thought we got a little confident, and that's my fault for letting them get to that mold. We got to get back to that edge, that dog. We play with a chip on our shoulder way better than we play like we're good. And we got to play with a chip on our shoulder next week, because we're probably going to be 7.5 to 14-point dogs on the road at night in Manhattan, right, where it's going to be 35 degrees. Yeah, I don't think many people are going to pick us on game day.
Hey, Coach, you've got a lot of familiarity with Gus Malzahn, but it's relatively new, kind of again, for him to be giving up play calling. Based on that, did you see anything from the play calling that you didn't expect?
Oh, well, we knew he wasn't calling it. So would I say, yeah, there was some new wrinkles from the new play caller. He does a phenomenal job. A lot more, third-level RPOs and letting one-on-ones, one high defense, throwing the ball versus running the ball with Coach Harris. He wants to give his guy one-on-ones. Coach Malzahn, you got to think triple option football. You got to think sound. You got to think reading ends, more athletic quarterbacks, which kills one high defense, right? Because your post safety has to be the extra hat for the quarterback. So now for them, you get into the quarters looks and you want to play triple option football, they're going to RPO you to death, right, off of quarter safeties and nickels. So you can't do that. But you get to one high, right, you got to win one-on-one. So what they're doing now really, really, in my opinion, fits their personnel with their big wideouts outside. So it made it way more challenging for us with Dylan Riss back there throwing one-on-ones and throwing the ball to their big receivers.
Jordan?
It felt like Sam needed to buy some time a little bit more than maybe previous games. What did you see out of him being able to do that, but also take care of the football at the same time?
Yeah, I think it was, one, taking care of the football. That's game changer. I mean, that was the difference in the game is turnover margin. I had a blocked punt and then the end of the half, right? That's the football game. But for him, there was a couple times he saw a ghost, and then there was a couple times that, there was a person there. It wasn't a ghost. So, I mean, that's part of kudos to them. And kudos to Coach Williams over there on defense. He had a few good schemes, getting in some odd front on some downs, getting us to slide it, and then we had to make some adjustments. So he did a really nice job on their defense side of the ball. He's a really, really good football coach, too. That's a good staff. That's a staff with a lot of future head coaches on it. And I think both their coordinators will be head coaches here in the next couple of years. And like I said, I thought that staff outcoached me. I don't think I did a great job preparing our guys to play the football game. And they found a way to win. And that's the fun part.
Kenny, for Sam to show that kind of poise in a late game scenario and ultimately lead a game-winning drive, what does that say just about where he's at in his development and the evolution of him as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, he's a dog. I mean, that's it. He's a great player. I mean, the fact that dude has 3 years left, every company in the state should be calling him for an NIL deal. Every company, people should be throwing cars at him. They should be throwing condos at him. They should be throwing whatever they can throw at him to be excited about the fact that you have an NFL level player in your state, in the flagship school, right, in the town, right, for 3 more years. That should be exciting. Like, people should rally behind that. People should be fired up about the opportunity to build around that. And I'm just glad he's here. I mean, helps me, makes me look good.
Coach, with both of the defensive kind of scores for you guys in the first half, with Martell Hughes blocking the punt, and then with Montana Warren getting the touchdown, and then the pick six by LT. What do you make of all those guys that have kind of been up and down the depth chart, and then being able to kind of make big plays for you guys regardless of what's going on?
Yeah, that's what we talk about, success, just being the very best you can be all the time, repeat. Like, there's not a win, there's not a loss, there's not this. Just be the very best you can be all the time, and then repeat. And those two kids, they just try to be the very best they can be all the time, and they repeat and repeat and repeat. So when it shows up for them, it's awesome. When you have a guy like, I gave Montana the game ball because it was like, that dude shows up and works. He'd start for a lot of football teams. We're just good at safety, right, and nickel. But he'd start for a lot of teams, and for him to work and work and work and work and work and work and work, and then for a play like that to happen, like, team went crazy when I gave him the ball, because those are the guys that you should get fired up about, are the people that are doing all the things and nobody's really talking about. And then all of a sudden they make a play, him and Tell, that changes the game. And that's pretty cool.
Last call. Coach, kind of piggybacking off of that, how do those two plays, how does that affect the team's energy level, not only this game, but heading into the next week, like you mentioned, being a big underdog against a team like Kansas State?
Yeah, it just shows that you can play. We played bad football and we found a way to win. But those two plays specifically, it creates buy-in on special teams. That's a huge game-changing play. So when we say we can block one, right, we were really, really close versus Kansas. Yeah, it was Kansas, in the same end zone, right, with Martell. And for us to be able to cut, but we timed it poorly because I overcoached it versus Kansas. This week I didn't overcoach it. I said, this is the block. Time it up, do your thing. All right, they blocked it. So kudos to them. They were fired up. And I think it gives guys confidence that all the little things are important. Like, I'm just playing special teams. Like, how am I going to make a difference? Change the game. Oh, I'm the third corner right now. How am I going to make a difference? Change the game. Like, you don't know what play is going to change the game. And when certain plays change the game like that, the buy-in of every play matters, and prepare like you're the guy who's going to change it. Everybody gets bought into that. So couldn't be happier for the guys. Like I said, I didn't do a good job preparing them this week. And for them to find a way to win, kudos to them. They covered my butt.
Patrick, Jordan,
So you kind of talked about with Sam just kind of taking some of those runs with it. There's some times where he definitely seemed to take some hits, and obviously that's part of football. But how much of that is that you want to try to avoid that so he doesn't have another injury like against Utah? And then also just not having Cam kind of changing the game, and maybe he feels a bit more pressure to be able to take off just because he's got someone in his face.
Yeah, I don't know if the Cam loss had anything effect on it, right? That obviously we didn't run the ball well. Yeah, we didn't run the ball well, which it's not good when you're at 2nd and 11 and 2nd and 10 all game. Right? Not ideal to play quarterback in those down and distances. So, but for Sam, and he's playing good football, and hopefully he continues to play good football, take care of the football, and great explosive plays, and we want him to get down so he can continue to play good football. Just simple as that. He slid today.
Yeah,
See that?
it's progress.
Progress. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So he slid today. We're fired up, bushy-tailed. I'm do back hamstring out of bed tomorrow.
Jordan, that's it.
Kenny, what can Kyson take from this game in an expanded role to move forward and grow as a running back?
Oh, unbelievable amounts. I mean, this was so good for him to start and to be the workhorse. He's going to look back at the tape and be like, man, could I slow down here? Was I too excited? Like, just take a breath. He's so fast, right? So take a breath. So, such good learning experience. And there were runs that he did an unbelievable job on. So I was very proud of him stepping in that moment. When you come in for somebody like Scat, who's in top 10 for the Heisman race, all eyes are going to be on you. Didn't fumble, didn't mess up a pass pro, right? Did he overrun a couple runs, right, for his first start? Yeah. Do most good running backs overrun a couple runs? Yeah. So kudos to him, man. He did everything we asked him to do. Proud of him. And like I said, I'm excited about Kyson in the future.
11 minutes.
Perfect. 11 minutes. Go Devils. Appreciate everybody.
Thanks.